Once we remove the human factor from the sighting in process, it's fairly easy to get an accurate assessment of exactly how the gun and the ammunition perform. Although there are numerous types of rifle rests on the market that absorb recoil to some degree, the best platforms for using this type of device are the HYSKORE Dangerous Game Machine Rest or the HYSKORE Precision Rifle Rest. Both of these devices utilize gas-filled compression dampers that attenuate the recoil and absorb it much like your shoulder does. This prevents damage to your stock, your bedding, your recoil lugs, or on big guns, your crossbolts. In addition, after each shot, the compression dampers return the rest to battery and put you right on the money. An important safety point to remember is to make certain your weapon is unloaded when you're fitting it into your rest, and more important, to make certain it's unloaded until after the device is completely installed and you're ready to begin the firing exercise. Controls are fairly simple. There's an off-on button with a red LED indicator light. Then there's an infrared remote control, much like the one you use on your television, that can operate the device on a line of sight basis. One of two events will cause the trigger push bar to return to the memory position. Number one is if you're operating the device, take your finger off the control, in 3 seconds it automatically defaults to the memory position. Number two, if the pressure on the trigger push bar exceeds 11 pounds, the device automatically returns to the memory position. The purpose of the memory position is twofold. First, so that you always know where the push bar will return to, and second, more important, so that the push bar always relieves itself a safe distance from the trigger when you're finished firing or you take your finger off the control. To reset the default, make sure the action is open and the gun is unloaded. Make sure the drive unit is on, and simply activate the control to move the push bar forward and then push the other button at the same time. We've just reset the default position and we are in perfect position. The device has a window that allows you to see the travel of the activator arm. And the window is scaled so that you can accurately reference any point where you may want the activator to return to. The device works equally well with AK type weapons, and AR type weapons. The two members of the clamp have a series of holes that are all drilled exactly the same on center, so that you can arrange the clamp in a variety of configurations to perfectly fit the gun that you want to use. For mounting the bracket to a bolt action semi-automatic type gun, the best way is to configure the clamp and bracket about like this. Now you're all set. The only thing you may need to do is to reset the default so that you have about 3/8 inch clearance between the push bar and the trigger. For AR type guns, it's necessary to rotate the two sections 90 degrees, then fix them in place. This way, the half with the clamp can fix right onto the magazine well. You may have questioned why we have a full 3-inch range of motion. And you see in this particular application, on an AK, it's necessary to have that much extension so we can depress the trigger and still clamp the device to the gun. An important consideration with semi-automatic weapons, especially those with an operating handle, is to make certain the operating handle clears the clamp and bracket through its entire cycle. Otherwise, you probably will not be very happy with the result. The HYSKORE remotely activated electronic trigger release is the perfect accessory to get you sighted in without any human motion contamination.